Well, welcome to Fire Talk, where we give you the latest news and updates on Southeastern University athletics. I'm SCU President Kent Ingle. My co-host today, Drew Watson, our Director of Athletics here at Southeastern. How you doing, Drew? It seems like I've been gone forever.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
It seems like Donnie Smith has been pinch hitting for quite a while here.
Yeah, and maybe he's favored more than me, so maybe he ought to be a permanent. I don't know.
Oh, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back. Been on the road a lot, but always stay in tune with Fire Athletics, and glad to be back and have a conversation. And we're always, love welcoming new members to the Fire family to Lakeland. And today we have our Associate Athletics Director, Brittney Kellar, with us, and we want to welcome you to our show today.
Thank you.
Look forward to our conversation and getting to know you more, and grateful that you're here and you made the trek to Lakeland, Florida, and to be a part of the Fire family. Yeah.
Well, she is also not only new to the Fire family, she's a regular listener of our show.
Oh,
She's one of our core listeners. So, and she would know, being a core listener, that we start with kind of a light question, like get to know you question.
Yep.
So, so tell us a little bit about your family, where you were before coming to Southeastern, and how you ended up applying for and getting this job.
Yeah, so I am a mother of two kids, 5-year-old Xander and 7-year-old Bodie. My husband was, until we moved to Lakeland, a women's soccer coach in the NAI. Yeah, he actually helped me get started in college athletics. He was hired at Mid-America Nazarene University back in 2012. So we moved out there. They had a cheer coach position open, and I walked into the director of athletics office that day and said, "Hey, I cheered at Division I. I think I can help you guys out." So I kind of worked my way in there. I hated recruiting. I was kind of terrible at it. So after a couple of years, I went in and said, "I'm really good at the administrative side. Like, let's make this work." And he saw something in me. So I became the assistant AD at Mid-America at a fairly young age. Was there for 5 years. And then we moved to, a big group of us from Mid-America moved to Surprise, Arizona. And we started Ottawa University, Arizona. Literally started the school. It didn't exist before we got there.
Wow.
And then I ended up out here.
That's great. Well, yeah, you mentioned you started at Mid-America Nazarene. You were 26, which is, really young for that particular role and position. What was that like for you at the time? Did you feel like you were prepared for the job at that point in your career? Or did you realize, man, I've got a lot to learn through this? Or, how was your approach to all of that?
No, especially on paper, I was not prepared at all. But what I did have is I was really eager to learn and wasn't afraid to say no to anything. Like I said, I started out as the cheer coach, and I really did just figure out different things that I saw as a coach that were missing in the department and said, "Hey, can I help with this? We need some better game day atmosphere. Let me see what I can fill in from there." And that's how I got into administration. So I think being eager and being willing to learn and really not saying no to anything was what I did have. But experience-wise, I was not prepared at all.
Yeah.
So you grew up in New Mexico, moved to Kansas, moved to Arizona, and now you're living in Florida. Where was your favorite place to live?
Hands down, Kansas City. I loved Kansas City.
I was born in Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it there. I would any day end up back there. And I had never stepped foot there until we moved there. So that was a little terrifying, but I loved it, fell in love with it. And that was before it was cool, before all of the Chiefs became good, before it's kind of what it is now. So I loved Kansas City.
So now you're living in Florida. You've been living here for, it's the end of March, 3 months, 3 months or so. What are your thoughts on Florida as a new resident?
Okay, somebody from the city came out to my house the other day and set up an alligator trap in my backyard. So that shocked me. I didn't know that was a thing. So there's just a giant pole with a huge piece of meat hanging over the lake in my backyard.
My goodness.
So I think that kind of summarizes my Florida experience so far. But it's been great. It's very different, but it's been great.
Do you live near water? Is that
Yes,
like
we have a lake in our backyard.
Lake, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have water behind our house, and you see them come out in the sun. They'll come and just lay out on the, so they're there.
Well, Brittany's friends can help you catch them if you'd like.
Yes. Yeah.
Hang a bunch of meat out there. Huh?
So she was saying that when the trappers came out, they were telling her about a man who decided he was going to take it into his own hands. So he had a pet goat.
Oh, no.
And he put the goat in a life jacket and put it out in the lake. And nothing happened to the goat, and he was just using it as bait, but he got cited for animal cruelty. because
How could you do that?
his goat,
Put a life jacket on a goat. Oh my gosh. Well, did he not care that he'd lose that goat? Probably.
well, he didn't think he would. It was just kind of
Oh.
like a bait for the gator, and
Oh.
Yeah, he said he was just intending to lure it, not
Oh
harm it.
my goodness. That's crazy.
we've reached a new level at our show when we're talking about
Yes.
life jacketed
Yes,
goats.
and all of that. Yeah. Well, anyway, obviously, moving on, the world of athletics provides, of course, ample opportunities to try, fail, learn. I mean, all of that. As you have worked in this industry, what are some of the leadership lessons that have most impacted your life and why?
Wow, that's a loaded question because I feel like I'm learning something. I don't feel like I am learning something every single day. That helps me be a little bit better. But I think, one of the most important things is going to sound like a generic answer, but relationship building, because so much falls under that. So relationship building, and then within that, being able to think outside the box, honestly. Like I said, we started a school from nothing, and it would be very easy. I think when you think of higher education, you think it's very prescriptive. Kids come to school, they sign up for their degree, they go to class, they graduate. There's not really room for anything else other than that. It is what it is. But with us, we had the opportunity to build what that looked like. So I think when coaches came to us with ideas, hey, it'd be easier to get kids on campus if we did this or if we did that. The easy thing would be to say no. This is what it looks like. But stepping back and figuring out ways to say yes, even if it wasn't yes to that question, but figuring out ways that we could say yes to our coaches to make their jobs a little bit easier. So thinking outside the box, I think, has been the biggest thing that I've really learned. Makes a great leader.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations are in order because you are the 2023 recipient of the NAIA's Charles Morris Award. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That's given to the administrator in the NAI and all the NAI
Wow.
who most exemplifies the loyalty and enthusiasm that Mr. Morris had for the NAI. So again, congratulations. It's a huge honor. You're going to be recognized for that next week in Kansas City at the convention. But what are your impressions of the NAI? And how have you or are you involved at various levels of the organization?
I love the NAI. I went to, like I said, I graduated from the University of New Mexico, and I also went to Arizona State. So I went to big schools and had honestly never heard of the NAI prior to Mid-America. And when we got there, I fell in love with the whole concept of it. The idea of coaches were advocates for student athletes, that faculty and staff were encouraged to pour into their lives and not put rules on to stay away. So I loved it. I love everything it stands for. My favorite thing over the years has been being involved with our student athletes at different levels as an administrator and as a coach's wife, being able to, really invest in. He coached women's soccer, so the young women who are at my house, helping them with job interviews, doing that, and that's encouraged at the NAI. So I love that piece of it.
So what do you do in the organization now?
Yeah, currently I am actually on a small board of. There's two other women, and we are forming the Senior Women Leaders Association, which is going to be a new association in the NAI because it's a new role, the SWL. So we're forming what that looks like, which is really exciting because it'll be in the NAI forever now. So it's really, It's a little bit intimidating. We want to make sure we do it right, do right by female administrators or those looking to get into the position. On different committees, I've been on the NAC, been on different tournament committees, selection committees, things like that.
Well, participation is really the key to this organization because when people get involved, good things happen. And, having been at some of the start of those kind of things, it's really important what you're doing. And people are going to look back on it, hopefully. They're going to look back on it and go, man, they really planned this out well. And I know that's part of your priorities there. So thank you for doing that.
As you look back over the last 10 years in your life, what are you most proud of as far as your professional accomplishments?
I think the easy answer would be to say what I did at Ottawa, Arizona, as in starting that school, just because it was such a small group of us. I was involved in so many different aspects of it. The first year I was the one placing kids in dorm rooms, rooming all the kids, just the different facets that I was involved. Being able to see how that went from we had 0 kids to at the end of that first year we had 430, and now they're just at under 1,000 with new facilities, designing all of that. That was really exciting, and I'm really proud of that. But the true answer, honestly, would be the relationships I built with the kids. I've been asked to baptize a couple kids. We've been invited to multiple weddings of just different student athletes, not only in the teams that my husband coaches, but just within the school. So being able to have an impact on those kids that they want my family involved in those pieces of their life, I think is the thing I'm most proud of.
Wow, that's great.
So what advice would you give to young professionals as they try and get into this industry? Particularly, what advice would you give to women who are trying to follow your career path and get involved in administration?
To women, I think, honestly, be prepared to have some really great champions and to have some people who just don't necessarily see a value in you. I don't mean that negatively. I mean that more in the sense of there's, especially in the NA, there's some really active people who are all about let's get more exposure for females, let's get them some education. So if they want to pursue this path, let's take them there. But there's also some people who see an agenda behind that. And I think both of those viewpoints should be welcomed. From one side, lean on those people who are your champions. And on the other side, use those other people as motivation to show that you can do this. Yeah. So I think that would be my thing for women. For anyone in general, just be willing to learn and be willing to do whatever it is. Like I said, that's how I got started. It wasn't because somebody said, hey, do you want this job? And it was this glamorous thing. It's not glamorous at all. We were sweeping buses the other day. So be willing to just do whatever you need to. And at every school, that looks different. What I'm doing here is completely different than what I was doing at OUAZ. And that's the exciting part of it. It's this job doesn't have a box that you fit in. So be willing to just find what your university and your student athletes need and be able to figure out a way to contribute to that.
That's great. Great wisdom and advice. Appreciate that. Thank you for joining us today, Brittney. A privilege to have you in the Fire family and to learn from you and your experience and to have that applied to all of our programs. So grateful for today and this conversation.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. As local Coca-Cola bottler, Coke Florida is dedicated to partnering with our community across the Sunshine State. It's locally owned, locally managed, locally focused. Coca-Cola Bottling Florida is a proud sponsor of Fire Athletics. All right. We're going to look at some of the teams and what they're doing. Let's start with track and field. Outdoor track and field season is moving right along. It looks like they had some top finishes last weekend.
Yeah, definitely. They competed Thursday at the FSU Relays and Friday at the UCF Invite. So we're up at Division I campuses. So it was a busy weekend.
What were some big highlights of that weekend?
Well, Thursday in Tallahassee at FSU, Cameron Guadiano tied his college best in the 110-meter hurdles with a time of 14.18. I mean, when I look at that, I don't know how long it takes you to run 110 meters.
Yeah, well.
Especially when there are things in your way.
Yeah, exactly.
But 14.18 seconds is phenomenal for the second week in a row. And this is big. He was named NAI's Men's Track Athlete of the Week. Not the conference, but the national Men's Athlete of the Week. So congratulations to Cameron. That's great. And he's a freshman.
Okay.
So it's
Have
really
him
good.
around a while.
Yeah. In the 400-meter dash, senior Joseph Taylor recorded the sixth fastest time in the NAI. He placed fourth with an NAI A standard of 47.72 seconds, followed by another A standard from teammate Davian Worrells with a time of 47.75, just 0.03 behind Joseph. On Friday, John Perez Dunn had a great showing in the men's 3,000-meter steeplechase, running a college personal record of 9:16.73, which took second place at the UCF Invite and ranks number 1 in the country in the NAI this season.
Wow.
The men's 4x400 meter relay ran the fastest time in the NAI with a time of 3 minutes, 12.08 seconds. The relay squad included Davian Worrells, Guadiano, James Williamson, and Joseph Taylor.
Wow. And the fastest time?
Yes,
ever?
The fastest
time this
in
season?
the NAI this season.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Great job to them. Now, do we have anybody competing in shot put?
We do. Kyle Manuel competes in shot put.
Okay.
Which is always amazing. Well, I love going to shot put.
Yeah, I was thinking, I might have some eligibility in that area, and I would love to step in and see if I can try out.
We can get you hooked up with that. We can get you.
I love throwing heavy balls.
Yeah, like grab a bowling ball,
Yeah,
just go to the
See
bowling.
how far I can throw it.
Instead of rolling it, you just chuck it down the lanes.
It's a great workout.
No, those guys are unbelievable. In fact, the guy that won last year at the outdoor nationals threw it like. I can't remember the exact, but he threw it outside of it. Like, how they have the lines?
Yeah.
He threw it past all the lines.
Oh, my goodness.
Guy was an absolute beast.
No, I love watching that in the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me because it's heavy.
And it sounds like and looks like when they throw that thing, that something inside them just
Exactly.
gonna
It's
give
gonna
way.
explode. I was curious if we had a champion in that yet.
No, not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. We do very well on that, but we have not had a national champion yet.
All right. Well, let's talk about the women.
So for the women, the relays had a great showing at UCF.
Okay.
The 4x400 meter relay ran an NAIA standard with a time of 3 minutes 49.92 seconds, placing them sixth. That relay included Scott Mendez, Chelsea Martino, and Lawrence.
Good luck.
Okay, so Olawafakayomi. Okay. I went to practice one day a couple years ago. I said, listen, I can't say your name, but I'm going to learn it today, and every time I see you, I'm going to say it right. So I learned how to say it, and one time I walked up to her. I think it was at a chapel, and I said it. I think I said Olawafakayomi. She goes, close. It's me, Olawafakayomi.
Oh, me.
And so they call her Kai. You know?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But the time in that, the 3.4992 is the third fastest recorded in the NAI so far this season. So that was impressive.
That's great. We love to hear the teams making such a name for themselves on the national stage, and that's what they have been doing.
Yeah, they next up they traveled to Daytona Beach. And as you saw, half the team was at FSU and half the team was at UCF. Next weekend, they're all together at Daytona Beach and Embry-Riddle.
Wow, that'll be great. All right, let's move to baseball as they continue to roll through the season. What's the latest with the team?
Well, we swept a 4-game series against Warner at home last weekend, outscoring the Royals a combined 19-2 in those first 2 games. Our pitching continues to remain dominant. Darian Smith advances 7-0 on the season. Colby Martin, who throws over 100 miles an hour, Colby does. He won his first game of the season at 1-0. On Saturday, Rob Adams moved his record to 5-0 and Kobe Reeves to 4-0. So the pitching continues to be the storyline for the Fire. Then on Saturday in Game 1, and on Thursday in Game 1, Fire leadoff batters had 9 hits and 8 RBIs between Josh Pagozzo, Isaac Nunez, David Castillo. Castillo went 4 for 4 with 5 RBIs and 2 runs scored with a 2-run homer. Great day for him. Nunez went 3 for 4 with 3 RBI and 2 runs scored and 2-run homer. Pagozzo scored 4 runs. Great offensive day.
Yeah. Now, are they still ranked number 1?
They are.
Number 1 in the nation.
Number 1.
And then you moved to Saturday. How did Saturday's games go?
Saturday's games were a whole different story. You had 19-2. We outscored them on Thursday, but we won the first game 3-1 on Saturday and second game 3-2.
Okay.
So 2 pitchers duels. Rob Adams recorded 8 strikeouts in Game 1. Gary Laura and Matt DeLay each had 2 hits. The Fire struck first as David Castillo delivered an RBI single in the third, plating Christopher Munoz, putting the Fire ahead 1-0. Then Chase Bryan hit a 2-run homer a little bit later to give us our 3rd run.
Yeah. What's coming up for?
We are now 27-2.
Wow.
8-0 in Sun Conference, and we're traveling to Georgia this weekend for a non-conference series against Reinhardt, who's ranked number 11.
So they're up there. That should be a good series.
Yep.
What now? You go to the World Series playoffs in Idaho every year. Are we a true World Series contender again this year, or?
Yeah. We have something this year. Our pitching's always been good, but not great. And I think when we had Coach Dinkle on the show a few weeks ago, he talked about the pitching, and it has certainly proven itself early on here. And I guess we're not early on anymore, 29 games in, but the pitching has been dominant. And so when you've got pitching, and I think we're playing pretty good defense, the offense can take a night off, and we can still, as you saw on Saturday against Warner, 3-1, 3-2, and still have success. So I think if our pitching remains constant, our hitting picks up a little bit, we're going to be tough to beat in Lewiston.
Yeah, no, that's going to be exciting, and that's not too far away.
No, it isn't.
Be soon. So, all right, good deal. Let's move to golf. Men's golf just finished up a big tournament in Nipton, California.
Now, you're a California guy.
Absolutely.
Do you know where Nipton is?
I have no idea where
I don't either.
Nipton is, to be honest. I guess I should know, but
Do they have an In-N-Out? It's probably all you're asking.
Probably do.
They probably do.
Yeah.
But they did. They were in California this past weekend. They finished 6th out of 17 teams in the Battle of Laughlin Ranch against some tough competition. Again, Matt Sosanek finished as tops on our team, 3rd on the individual leaderboard, fueled by a 5 under 67 in the first round.
Wow. When do they compete again?
Well, next up is the conference tournament, conference championship, and that's at home right in your backyard there at Grasslands, April 29th.
Excellent. Hope we do well. That'll be great. And then softball, Fire softball's coming off a conference matchup versus Florida Memorial. How'd we do?
We swept the 3-game series in Miami.
That's great.
Girls showed up and played well. Pitchers had a great series, allowing just 1 earned run in 20 innings. Claire Seckinger struck out 11 on Sunday in a complete game effort. Eden Playa went the distance on Monday, allowing just 1 run on 7 hits.
Yeah, that's great. What's next for softball?
Well, they're actually in action right now. They're playing Ave Maria out there at the softball complex, and Ave Maria has struggled so far this season, but they're 21-14. They're 0-6 in conference, which is the struggle I referred to. But they have some notable wins. They swept Palm Beach Atlantic in a doubleheader, so they're not playing poorly. They've just kind of had some bad luck. So today's doubleheader should be interesting.
Yeah, no, that's great. And then in terms of, do they play tomorrow too?
They do play tomorrow. Yes, they play a single game tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yep.
Okay, because I know on SU Now we announced tomorrow's game, didn't mention today's game.
Yeah, today's it's usually a Friday Saturday deal, but because of Easter weekend, Ave Maria,
Sure.
So we've moved it up here, and we actually moved up the game times today because of incoming weather.
Right. I know it looks like it's about to rain.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about beach volleyball. How did we do against, we went into Alabama last week?
Yeah, we went to Alabama, Gulf Shores, Alabama. We beat William Carey 3-2 in their first match. The top 3 pairs in the lineup, Sylvia Leshevsky, Grace Petty, then Amelia Harding, Olivia Williams, and then Kenny Jones and Allie Postlethwaite, who's been a guest on this show.
Yep.
All won 2 of their 3 matches during the trip. So it was a good kickoff to that tournament out there.
And what's next for them?
They head over to St. Pete to play Ave Maria and Eckerd on Thursday to close out their season.
Okay, wow. Went by fast.
It really does.
And then tennis, I actually had the chance to go out and see them play on the home courts a couple weeks ago, and they continue to their winning ways. How talk a little bit about them?
Man, they're so competitive this year. I mean, they had the big match against Kaiser on Saturday at Kaiser. We dropped both of them, but it was a very competitive situation. I know both teams are looking forward to the conference tournament and possibly playing Kaiser again. The next day, and if you know anything about the tennis schedule, it's intense. I think they played all but one day on spring break, beat a couple Division I teams that week. So they played the very next day against Xavier. Xavier, the women are number 5. We were number 4.
Okay.
Beat them 4-3.
Okay.
And then we had to win 4 singles matches to knock them off. Of the 4 singles matches won, there were 3 against top 75 ranked individuals. So it was a really competitive match. SU's 40th ranked number 2 doubles team of Flaminia Guidantoni and Ingrid Monserrat won 6-4. Martina Picardi upset number 16 Mabali Langa in their third set tiebreaker 7-2. Wow. And then Irene Lopez won straight sets, and Ingrid's 7-5, 6-2 win over number 64 Valentina Largacha gave the Fire the win.
Excellent, excellent. Big win for the ladies for sure, and that win takes the women to 9-3 on the year. How about the men's squad?
We're ranked 6th, started a new win streak Sunday with a 5-2 win over number 10 Xavier after battling multiple weather delays that day. Okay. Number 10, Bruno Pessoa and Diego Menendez won 6-4 over 8th-ranked Jacoby Bain and Nerio Suarez to clinch the doubles point. 30th-ranked Piero Fernandez and Mark Griffin won 6-2 over 36th-ranked Diedrich Ray and Ivan Vasquez. And Mark Griffin won Player of the Week as well.
Wow.
For men's tennis.
That's great. That improves the men's record to 13-4. What's next for tennis?
So we've got a non-conference match on Saturday at home against Florida National, 1 p.m.
Wow, great job. All of our teams, man, amazing seasons and doing extremely well, and playoffs are all around the corner.
Yeah, it's exciting. Spring's exciting as we come up to the home stretch here with playoffs coming up. It's going to be a great wrap-up.
When's the final home game in softball? I want to make sure I get out there. And
Let me check that right now. We have a score update in softball.
Okay.
It's 2-0 in the top of the second. The final home game is on Saturday, April 27th against Kaiser.
Okay. Well,
Also play a doubleheader on Friday.
That's the day after graduation, right?
It is. So yes. So graduation afternoon they play. That would be a single at 1:30, so we can be done by graduation. And then the doubleheader is actually on Saturday the 27th, so 12 and 2 p.m.
I'm going to plan out. I assume we have another home game even before that.
We do.
I want to get out there and watch the lady softball players do their excellent thing.
Yes.
And so, ladies, I'll be out there to watch the game. So I know they've been wondering when my wife and I are going to get out there and catch a game, but we will definitely do so before the end of the season.
If you'd like to watch it from the dugout for an inning or so, I can.
You can arrange that?
I have some access there. I can probably get you in the dugout.
Yeah, see, it pays to know somebody. Right. Good deal. I might take you up on that.
Well, you do sign my paycheck every week, so you can go anywhere you want. Just let me know.
Well, technically I don't sign it, but hey. Anyway, well, great. Well, Drew, that's the wrap for today. Thanks to everyone for joining us as we close the show. I want to remind everyone about our home games again this week. Softball at home today at 3 p.m., tomorrow at 12 p.m. Tennis will play at the Bierman Family Tennis Complex at 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Make sure you visit SUFire.com for the latest news in fire athletics. You can find the event calendar and as well as a link to watch all of our games for free.
Yeah, good luck to all our teams this week. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. Go Fire.
Go Fire.